again. Fine. Sorry. What's up, Spotlight Omaha? Seth here with Jacob Hobbsey. He is the frontman for Liarwire, and he's also a newly nominated Best New Artist for the OEA Awards as a Best New Pop Artist.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now, tell me how you found out. Like, tell me about that day.
Well, it was kind of a weird thing. I knew that they were going to do the announcements, and really they were streaming it, and I was getting ready for work, or I was getting ready for something, and my girlfriend was like, well, I'm just going to watch it just in case. And I was like, okay, I didn't think much of it. And then sure enough, I was one of the names they called. So I was like, oh, well, that's awesome, because I didn't have high hopes. I never really do. But like, it was a good feeling, because this is the first time I've ever been a part of something like this, especially with music. So it really kind of made me feel good. But it was an exciting day for me for sure.
Now, tell me about the setup, because your live setup, you've actually got somebody behind you running backing tracks and stuff like that. Like, how did it come together? How did the project come together to be written out like that?
So, typically, I'll play like sets with just me and my guitar, and I'll do like open mics, just me and my guitar. But I also have the RJ Hobbsey project, which is more like pop, kind of like, synths and radio stuff. And I was like, well, I kind of want to do that live, because I don't do that as much live, and I'd like to, like, kind of like the stuff I post on Facebook and stuff like that. So my cousin Daniel, he's actually been a producer for like over 15 years. He was just like, I can help you out. I'll just come with you. And I actually asked him, so he didn't like impose, but like, that way I can do a little bit of me and my guitar, a little bit of, the pop stuff with no guitar. I can kind of go back and forth, and it's kind of a little bit of best of both worlds. And I kind of wanted to show that off, because I normally don't. And there's a lot of good songs that I like that I've done that I would like to just perform, because I never get to.
Sure. So obviously, Liarwire is a completely different feel for the music. How do you differentiate writing music for Liarwire and then writing it for your own project?
I guess it depends on, like, if I'm hanging out with those guys. I'm a huge punk. I can say, like, punk is probably always will be my favorite, like, genre of music to listen to. And when I'm with them, it really gets me, like, in the mood to, like, jam and, like, listen to, Fat Records bands and, like, Epitaph Records bands and, like, Japanese punk bands. And it really gets me inspired when I'm with them, because that's all they listen to. And I'm like, okay, dude. And then we kind of mesh well. And then we'll start writing riffs together and stuff like that. When I'm by myself, it kind of varies a bit when I'm by myself. And I start writing guitar riffs that are inspired by other things. I like to do other stuff too.
Do you play any of the Liarwire songs in your set if somebody was in the crowd asking for them? Like, do you have any of them that you do on your own?
I've thought about it, but I just don't know. I want to talk to the other guys before, because I don't want to, like, they wouldn't get mad at me, but like, it's just one of those things. It's like,
be better to ask than to just assume.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Because
I don't want to do our songs when it's just like under my set, my name, and like they're not gonna get credit for helping write. And like, I don't know. I think a lot about that kind of stuff, but I've definitely thought about it. There's some songs I can probably do that are slower and would sound okay.
I gotcha.
So
and they're also family, so you don't want to step on the toes of family members either. Yeah. So
they're cool though. They'd be okay with it, I'm sure. But I overthink stuff like that, dude.
Yeah. So when you got started writing material on your own, the single that I heard I was really impressed with was actually your song about depression.
Oh yeah.
Coming out and like outward saying, it's like, I've got this song. Depression's obviously a battle that a lot of people have to fight, but not as many people are as upfront about it.
Yeah.
So as an artist, like, how did you come to, like?
Well, like I can, at first I was kind of ashamed, but now that I'm growing up, I'm more open about it. Like I've seen like 4 therapists since I was like a kid, and I can I can say that now without being ashamed, and like I don't care if people know. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, and I've had my problems with family and like stuff as a kid, and that I've always kind of struggled with, and I know people in family that have had issues too, and I'm not saying that song is gonna help anybody, but at least I can go to bed knowing that I tried to spread some sort of awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've had people message me and say, "Hey, man, thanks for letting me know I'm not alone." Like simple stuff like that, and that alone makes me feel good.
It's like knowing that you affected somebody to that level makes it really worth it.
Yeah,
especially.
And not only that, people. I think I got a lot of songs that have less meaning than others, and that one I kind of put a little bit more effort into the lyrics and stuff like that, and it sort of just I think it resonated with more people because of that, because I think it's relatable,
honest.
It's honest, yeah. And it's not just like a catchy song I wrote in like a couple minutes. Like I do that. Everyone has those songs that they just kind of, and that one I kind of wanted to put more time in. And even when I'm like singing it live, like it feels like a different way, as opposed to like a song I have like called 3 a.m. Like it's just a different vibe and a different feel, and I can feel that myself even when I'm singing it.
And that one is another video that I checked out. I think you guys said that you filmed that in a basement like one night and put it all together. It was like actually in a pretty damn cool basement.
That's my dad's basement.
Yeah.
He's kind of a nerd.
Got a bunch of arcade machines and stuff. That was actually really cool. Speaking of those catchy songs that you're going to, you've got a lot of them, and some of them with the backing tracks that you've introduced, they've got almost kind of like a hip-hop feel to them at the same time.
Bit, yeah.
Like, do you write those out too, or is that the partner who helps run them with you?
What happens is, sometimes we'll get together and we'll, come up with melodies, and, he's really good at, like, producing, like, beats, and, like, he's really good at, like, mixing that stuff. I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. I'm young. Hopefully one day I'll get to the point where I, can get there. But, like, we'll get together, I'll come up with like a melody or something. I like coming up with like vocal melodies and lyrics and stuff, and he's kind of good on the other side of it, because he's been DJing and producing for so long, and we'll kind of get together, or I'll do it and then I'll give it to him to kind of mix around with, kind of make it sound good or better than what I can do. But that's usually how it goes, and he helped me with that one. He actually helped me get that from the ground up. But yeah, that's a fun, catchy song. It's definitely hip-hop inspired, definitely like Black Bear, Post Malone influenced, which is kind of cool. I've always been a fan of hip-hop and stuff, and I like to experiment. I mean, it's not very complex, but I like to kind of branch out, try some new stuff that I haven't done before. And I like digital, working with software and making beats and instrumentals and working with synths and MIDI and whatnot.
The new age instruments.
I like doing that too. It's fun. So that's kind of how that worked. But yeah, literally had that song. It was catchy. I was like, let's do a video. And my roommate, who's also my cousin, was like, I got this camera. Let's just do something really quick. And I was like, okay. And we just did it on iMovie.
Yeah.
Nothing really special.
I mean, and that shows the effort that it's like, hey, it's more about the music. I'm just trying to get this out here and make sure that people know. It's like, hey, there's another piece of content here. It's not just the song. I've also got a video for it. And
and
keeping some variety. Like one thing that I can praise you for is that your social media presence for your solo career has been like very consistent. You're pushing out an awful lot to like. I'm seeing you share your videos to make sure, hey, it's like this is still here.
Yeah.
And working on new stuff pretty frequently. Like after the OEAs, what do you got coming up? Like what's kind of like the next big thing?
Well, with Liarwire, we're planning on kind of like a tour west.
Okay.
It's just a matter of booking the shows, and of course money. We like to be. I know a lot of bands will just go because they love it.
Sure.
And they don't, they'll just go and whatever happens, happens. And we've thought about that too. It's just we want to make sure we don't have a reliable van. We have a van, but it's always breaking down. And we just want to make sure everything is set because we've never been on tour before. We haven't been a band that long. We're not that experienced. So we just want to make sure we got, everything kind of set as good as it can be before we do anything crazy because we don't want to end up screwing ourselves over,
So that's the big thing on the horizon for it. Like, what about the solo career? Like, you got anything coming up there? Are you looking into maybe jumping in for a full album?
I've thought about it. I have an EP recorded, and the songs on that EP, there's like 5 songs, and I've played 4 of them last night. When I get like a solo show, I'll kind of hand them out, sell them for if I want to do that. But basically my plan is to just play more shows. That's one thing I need to do more is get out more and just play live.
Okay.
Because I just need to do that more. And also, I've been working a lot with like other producers, like as a vocalist, like they'll like with like trance music. I kind of want to just doing different things. My goal is basically just to kind of be versatile enough to where if someone needs something, they can be like, you know what, he's a reliable person. I don't want to be, because I know a lot of people that they kind of want to stick to one genre, and that's 100% cool.
Sure.
But I that's not really my passion. Like, as much as I love punk, being in a punk band, I do want to do other stuff too, and they understand that, my band and stuff, and I just want to be like reliable. Like if someone needs something, they can consider me. That's kind of my end goal.
So you want to make music, but not like tie yourself down to any like one goal, so you can still take time out for other collaborations and stuff.
Sure.
Like that.
Like I like to think of it as like I'm a big fan of like stand up, and I kind of explain it to my friends like this. Like there's like comedians that like do only political. Some do like observational, but there's some that kind of work off the crowd and they want to have a joke for like whatever, they want to, if someone says something, they want to try to have like a joke for whatever that person says, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of,
be prepared to improvise.
Yeah. And that's kind of how, that's like my goal is to just, like, hey, I'm having a hard time writing a hook. Well, let's see if Jake can help us. Like, that's like my end goal.
So artist, but also getting into the producing side too.
Mm-hmm. I love writing, and I would love to write for other people too. That's a good goal of mine that I've always strived for. Especially
if you're writing stuff that you don't feel would be good, like performed by you. It's like, oh, I'm a pop punk / pop artist, right? And I've got this really sick metal riff or something like that.
Yeah, and like I got friends that are in bands and like metal bands and I've always been like, dude, I always like to jam with them and like, not necessarily, I don't know if I'd be a good fit for like the band, but like, I would like to help out,
Just throw some ideas around.
Yeah, I like, jamming. I've always like, like I wrote a country song. I'm not even like a country fan. I was just feeling in the mood one day. Yeah. And I don't even know.
Do you play it?
Not really. Sometimes if, but like, I don't even know if it's that good, but like, it's just, I'm trying,
Sure.
And I want to
keeping that versatility. That you
I want to give it a go. Like I was writing, like a musical, like I came up with an idea for like a musical and I wrote like 2 songs for it when I was like in high school. That never went anywhere, but like I was trying, and that was kind of like where I was going.
Why not try at least? Yeah. Give it a go.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of how I see, that's kind of where I want to be, in the near future or whenever, I guess. I don't know, but definitely play live.
Okay. How do you feel up on stage? Like, because you're saying that you need to get out live more. Is there something stopping you from jumping up there? Is it just booking shows, or is it more kind of a personal thing?
No, I wouldn't say it's personal. I mean, I guess I just spend too much time. I don't know. I guess it's mostly me to blame. But I I spend a lot of time just writing songs, and I'm always kind of afraid to showcase something if I don't have 100% confidence in it.
Of course.
Yet.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be your own worst critic. That's tough to get around. And
there was a point in time where I was like, during the summer, I was constantly contacting venues, and it was just a thing of like, we'll send us some of your music, and I would do it, and they're like, okay, we'll let you know when there's a good fit, and then you won't hear from them.
I gotcha.
And then I'll contact them, and then they have no response, or it's mostly my fault, but I don't know. I haven't been like mentally in a good place either, but I have a couple goals written down that I really would like to accomplish soon, and definitely playing more. I feel like better mentally, and I'm not as afraid anymore.
Good. And after hearing you perform, like, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, keeping up with that confidence level is really good, because, I mean, I only got pieces of it because I was filming.
Right.
But cool. But yeah, I've seen your energy on stage at Liarwire. Nobody would ever guess you have any like reservations when you're up there.
That's weird. Like, I know what you mean too, because it's a little. I see it differently, because when I'm on stage with them, first of all, the music's so like energetic. Like, punk rock is fast, and it's.
And the energy level for you guys is matching that by a lot too.
And it's weird because like. Well, it's not weird, but like we're all related, of course. So like we've been playing since we were kids, and it's just like we all have like that brotherly like bond. So like,
and the spotlight's also not just on you.
Yeah. So there's 4 of us, and when we're on stage, I can look over at Johnny, and I look over and I know like, okay, I'm not alone. Yeah. It's like this is just it reminds me like, okay, this is a good time. Like I look over and Johnny's acting like a fool on stage. I'm like, okay, that makes me feel better. So let's all go crazy, But when I'm on stage, it's me alone, and I'm still, like I said, I haven't had that much experience playing solo shows.
Okay.
So, when I get on stage, I don't necessarily have stage fright, but I do feel alone. That way, that's why when I had my cousin Daniel behind me last night, it made me feel a little bit better, And I was always afraid of doing it myself, because playing the backtracks from the laptop and my guitar, I'm always afraid, like, what if the mix is off, and like, what if it just doesn't sound right, and like, because I don't know, but if I have someone like him with me, it helps me out, it mellows me out a bit.
So, a lot of anxiety to battle when you're up there.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. That's always been a problem with me. Like,
and I can relate. Like, dude, when I'm up on stage with a full band's way easier than if I ever had to imagine doing it up there on my own. So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
I'm feeling better though. Like I've had a lot of talks with my therapist, and like I'm getting over some things. It's okay. I'm feeling okay to be vulnerable lately.
Sure.
Like I used to just record songs and write demos and stuff, and then I'd never post them ever. And like my friends would be like, "What do you like? Post them. Who cares?
It's good stuff.
Like who cares? Like they'd be like, even if it's not like," and I'd be like, "Well, I don't think it sounds." They're like, "Who cares? Like just post it." And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? And now lately, if I write something, I'll post it. I'm getting better at that. So, I'm starting to care less about what others think, and that was a big problem of mine. And it still kind of is, but it's less and less now.
Sure, because you're going to be appealing to a crowd that are already into what you got going on. So
and another thing is always feeling like I don't fit in. Like yesterday, for a while, I was like, man, like it's always a thing that crosses my mind. And
it was quite an event to be up on too, because you're surrounded by the nominees for the best in the area.
Right. And I know you're supposed to go up there like confident, like, this is what I have to offer, but it's just how it is,
It's tough.
I think about it.
It's tough.
I think about it, and it's tough for me especially, but I know I'm getting better. I feel better. Like last night when I got on stage, I was eager and I was excited.
Yeah. And you look like you were having a good time up there. So
I was.
Jacob, thanks for coming in.
Oh, no, thanks
super honest, super humble, and we appreciate you being Spotlight Omaha's Artist of the Week.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, let's get some tunes out of you.
Sure. Thank you very much.